Oh man, got a problem, and it's a bad one. Done. Oh yeah, it is a crime. Welcome to the Reality Check with Charles Butler. We decided to do a show today. Had We're doing virtual presentations, and what does that mean? That means that we use Skype, not Skype, Zoom. I'm sorry, Zoom meeting to meet with our clients, and it's working out. It's good. It's interesting. And I tell you the truth, I would much rather do these video meetings than to do in-home meetings. I tell you, it's a lot safer. I tell you that. But anyway, we are sitting here getting ready to dial in, so you can call in 215. What is it? 215-867-8255. 215-867-8255. That's our call in number. And I'll keep the board up, keep it open. You call in, we'll deal with it, and we'll have some fun. I tell you that. Speaking of fun, I hope that the kids are home and having fun with their parents. We're talking about the parents are stuck with the kids. Well, the kids are stuck with the parents too. Poor kids. But I'm sure everybody's having fun, and it's great to have everyone home. And I hope you guys are home and well and safe. But it doesn't seem like this corona flu or China flu, I'd like to call it the China flu myself, because that's where it came from. China, Wuhan, China to be exact. Wuhan, China, home of the bio warfare community or laboratory of China, the bio weapons laboratory of China. They are like our Fort Belfour. For those of you who don't know what Fort Belfour is, spelled Belvior. It's located over in Maryland, and that's the U.S. military's bio weapons uh, laboratory. So Fort Belfour, I tell you. Anyway, this whole virus thing has gotten the country in a tizzy. I was watching the Senate go through its gyrations. They're doing a vote, and it's really interesting what's going on over there in terms of the vote. And let me see if I can go back to it. Let's see, where were we? Here we go. Here's Mitch McConnell. He's speaking. Let's listen to Mitch. Senate Leader Mitch McCain talking about what's going on in the Senate. They just took a vote. It's crazy. So we'll figure it out. Let's go. Let's figure it out. Okay. That was Senator Mitch McConnell, Senate leader, talking about the deadlock over the coronavirus economic stimulus package. From what I understand, the uh, Democrats are trying to put a lot of things in the game that really shouldn't exist. They're talking about, abortion and what does that have to do with coronavirus? What does that have to do with China flu? Abortion. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just getting kind of the feedback. So they just voted on this $1.8 trillion stimulus package, and I guess it was blocked. And McConnell is, he's scrambling. He's like, hey, Schumer's not losing anything. He's not losing any steam. He has, New York's getting theirs. He has the New York constituency in his pocket. But what about those of you who are out here not in such secure situations? How about that? Hello. It's amazing, isn't it? I think so. You know, um, the government, they said the Democrats have raised concerns that the funds that they recommend uh, have transparency or enough guide rails to make sure companies do not use the funds to enrich themselves. See, that all came from Trump. Trump said, I want to make sure that these companies don't go out and do stock buybacks with the money we give them. These Yahoo senators and they never thought about that because, for one, they don't know anything about stocks and bonds and companies and how companies function. If they did, we wouldn't have had the fiascos of 1988 when we did the TARP, and that was a corporate giveaway. And then we come to 2008, which was a real corporate giveaway. And we're not even going to talk about what happened after 9/11, bailing the banks out, and how Barack Obama just rolled over and bent over and gave away the store. And we had a financial crisis, I guess, in 2003. But the one after 9/11, that was a total giveaway. Too big to fail. I mean, really? A lot of companies failed, though. A lot of companies went out of business. Oh, I'm getting text messages. Text messages are coming in. But don't forget, folks, you can call in at 215-867-8255. Let's see here. We got a few text messages that are in. What do we have? Okay. Gabrielle. Okay, we're going to have maybe okay. Andy's calling in. Okay. Anita's bio. Andy was up for the Secretary of Labor. He was up for Secretary of Labor. He was nominated. He withdrew his nomination. Good guy. Let's see here. So at the heart of this impasse between Manchin and Schumer, they met late last night to discuss this after the vote failed, and they still couldn't come to terms. And, Schumer, at the heart of the impasse, is $425 billion fund that was created by the bill that the Federal Reserve could leverage for loans to assist broad groups of distressed companies. In addition to the $75 billion, it would provide for industry-specific loans. Democrats raised the concerns that the funds do not have the rules for transparency or enough guide rails. Okay. So Manchin said too much discretion to decide which companies receive funds and calling the proposal a slush fund. They didn't call it a slush fund when Barack Obama gave away his store in 2009. They didn't call that a slush fund. They called it prepping for campaign contributions because they all got money. They got big money from pharma. They got big money from the health insurance companies. These people made millions. How does a poor ass senator go to Congress dirt poor with campaign debt and can and have stocks in the terms of $6-7 million, like the congressman who trade or the senator who traded on insider trading information and got busted last week? Guy dirt poor. He comes out a multi-millionaire, folks. I'm just saying, help me out with this. Help me out. Somebody needs to help me out. I mean, man, I'm in the wrong business. But Governor Cuomo, he has a lot at stake, and some of these other folks, they have a lot at stake, and they know it, and they're responding to it. That's all I can say. So, oh man, so I'm looking at the stats that I have on Corona lately, and I don't have the TV up. Is it up? No, it's not up. Co-author. Okay, there we go. So we're going to have a guest at the bottom of the hour. He is Andy Puzder. He was chief executive officer of CKE restaurants for more than 16 years. Okay. And he was, like I said, he was nominated for Secretary of Department of Labor. Okay. But, this failure to come to some resolution is really heating up. So I want to go back. We have a congressman, a senator on the floor right now. I don't know who this is. Hold on. We'll figure it out.
Small businesses, the goal is not to have people on unemployment. The goal is to have people employed. So a very creative thing was built into this that I happen to be a part of for the Science Bowl. And that was small businesses, a business with 550 employees, could actually apply for a rapid loan. That loan would be given to them quickly, and they could use that loan. If they used it for payroll, would be forgiven entirely. If they used it for their lease, would be forgiven entirely. The goal was to not have small business go out of business and to keep employees
Wow.
working.
This is interesting. This is interesting, and there are a lot of moving parts. I don't know what this bill is really going to mean to us. Uh, but one of the things I wanted to cover before we bring on Andy Plutster is this thing about Chinese discrimination, Asian discrimination. In the New York Times front page, it talks about spit on, yelled at, attacked. Chinese Americans fear for their safety. B effing X. I mean, really? As a black man, I fear for my safety. I can't remember not fearing for my safety living in America. Guess what? It may be wrong, but it still exists. I still have to deal with these issues. Last week, I was in Skokie, Illinois, visiting a client. I had the cops called on me. This is 2020. I'm 60 something years old, and I had the cops called on me because I was a black man in a neighborhood where there are very few blacks. Hello. Do you see that making New York Times? Hell no. When it was the African swine flu, did black people run around? I'm spit on. I'm called names. We're called names all the time. So last time you heard someone use or call someone the N word in a disparaging way, not in a loving way, in a disparaging way. Hey, all I can say to you Asians out there, you Chinese, you Japanese, man up. Where were you during the civil rights movement? Where were you when we were marching, getting spit on, having dogs sicked on us? You were nowhere to be found because you were like, we're not descendants of slaves. Isn't that your key? We're not descendants of slaves. We're not like those black people. Yeah, got news for you. We're all Americans. In America, we have our issues, but we're still a great nation. And yeah, these things are wrong, but they're not, people aren't being drugged down the street. People aren't being tied behind cars and their heads pulled off like the guy in Texas by his friends. But anyway, this young lady, Wu Yang Zhu, was walking to her gym in San Francisco on March the 9th, thinking the workout would be her last for a while when she noticed a man was shouting at her. He was yelling an expletive about China. So what? It's true. F China. Who cares? She's not Chinese. Well, she may be, Wuhan Jew. I don't know, but she's an American. So, I'm an American. So when people tell me to go back to Africa, I tell them, you go back to wherever you came from. I built this damn country. I've been here longer than you. I'm more American than you'll ever be. And that's what black folks need to understand with their dumbasses. They're just dumb. Oh, I'm an African American. Africa is a continent, stupid. You're not a Kenyan American. As Barack Obama would say, I'm not like you black people. My father is from Kenya. I don't know anything about the African American experience. Let Eric Holder tell it. So anyway, this man screamed at her, and he screamed after it, run him over. She said she tried to keep her distance, but when the light changed, she was stuck waiting with him at the crosswalk. She could feel him staring at her, and then suddenly she felt it. What was it? His saliva hitting her face. Oh, that's horrible. And her favorite sweater. That's horrible. She should have punched him. She should have punched me right out. If she hadn't punched him, I would have punched him for her. It's horrible, spitting on somebody. In shock, Ms. Zhu, who's 28, and moved to the United States from China 5 years ago, Why is she here? She's taking a job. Stay in China. Work in China. Anyway, hurried the rest of the way to the gym. She found a corner where no one could see her, where she cried quietly. Well, now, Miss Zhu, you see how Americans are treated in China. See, we just give you a little bit of your own stuff. See, because Americans aren't treated very nicely in China either, or Japan, where they're called gaijin. So you just get a little of your own feel. You know, it's wrong, yeah, but grow up, get with it. You know, grow a pair. I have to. Like I told you, I just had the cops called on me in Skokie. And they came by, all, we're the guys here to protect. Okay. Don't get yourself in something you can't handle, boy. So in shock, she was in shock. She said the person didn't look strange or angry or anything, He just looked like a normal person, of course. As the coronavirus upends American life, Chinese Americans face a double threat. Okay. Not only are they grappling like everyone else with how to avoid the virus itself, but also contending with the growing racism in the form of verbal and physical attacks. Other Asian Americans with families from Korea, Vietnam, the Philippines, Myanmar, and other places are facing threats too. Lump them together. Chinese Americans by bigotry does not know the difference. Oh, man. Amazing. In interviews over the past 2 weeks, this article says, nearly 24 Asian Americans across the country are afraid to go to grocery shopping, to travel alone on subways or buses, or let their children go outside. Join the group, join the crowd, join the Black Americans in how we feel about things. Amazing. Amazing. Welcome. Welcome to the thing we call American racism. But we never let it get us down. And I hear, I did an interview on WTTW. You can Google Charles Butler, WTTW, Chicago. And this Hispanic had the nerve to talk about, Hispanics were lynched too. He was a damn lie. He knew he was sitting there lying his ass off. And I confronted him, man. I did not give up. I did not give an inch. But anyway, let me finish this. So if they keep using terms like these kids are going to pick them up, like Chinese to combat the different. On Tuesday, Trump told reporters that he was calling the virus Chinese to combat disinformation campaign by Beijing, saying the Chinese military was the source of the outbreak, and he dismissed the concerns that his language would lead to any harm. He should. This man said that if they keep using these terms, kids are going to pick it up. So what? Epidemiologists in Howard County, Maryland, Chinese guy named Tony Du, said they're going to call my 8-year-old son a Chinese virus. So who cares? Shit. Black kids are called the N-word by white kids. In fact, white kids are walking around singing songs talking about in this, in that, Okay, got it. So we have this regressive cultural issue. I got it. Oh, man, this is too funny for me anyway. So Dr. Wu posted on his Facebook, this is the darkest day of my 20 years of life in the United States. Go back home, Dr. Du. Go back home. You people come here. You people. I said you people. You Chinese, you Asians, you Indians. You come here to our country with the express purpose of training for to be a doctor, to go back to your own country and work, and you stay here. I don't have any sympathy for you. See, where I was on China 30 years ago is where everybody is today. Just like this issue today, you have all of these people who are coming here, getting great degrees and staying here when an American can't get into a medical school. A black kid who wants to grow up to be a doctor can't do that because of his neighborhood and his environment. But yet we bring in all these damn foreigners who come in, we train them, they stay here instead of going back to China or India or Bangladesh or wherever the hell they come from, Pakistan. and they have good jobs and good lives. And an American kid can't make it. Do you think he could go to China or India and become a damn doctor? The answer is hell no. Uh-oh. So look, we got a caller calling in here shortly. I got to go find him. And let's see. I'm looking. He'll be calling in here shortly. Okay. So got a couple of messages. So this may be the fact that he's calling. Yeah. Uh-oh. Line is closed. Let's see here. Let's see. Nope, the line's not closed. Line's not closed.
Welcome back, host. Have a great show.
Line's not closed. Let's see. Line's not closed. Okay. It's open. It's open. Should be open. Yep, it's open. Okay. 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 So we're going to have uh, Mr. Andy Polster. He was a CEO of CKE restaurants for more than 16 years, I'm sorry, following a career as an attorney. He's currently a senior fellow at Pepperdine University School of Policy. He was nominated by President Trump to serve as U.S. Labor Secretary and in 2011, Puzder co-authored a book called Job Creation, It Really Works, and Why Government Doesn't Understand It. His latest book is The Capitalist Comeback, The Trump Boom, and the Left's Plot to Stop It. The Left's Plot to Stop It. Welcome to the show, Mr. Pulster. How are you? Putster. Hey, Andy, you were nominated. I remember when you were nominated to be Secretary of Labor. I was really excited about that because I think you really have a handle on the how things work in this country, how businesses run, and running a restaurant kind of encompasses everything that goes on in business, as far as I'm concerned. But it's like I said, I was really hoping that you had gone on to the Senate and got confirmed and been DOL.
Me too. I was excited about it as well and anxious to get in there and do the job, which is probably one of the reasons the Democrats trashed me so badly and effectively. It wasn't a pretty situation. But,
No,
if you can't compete, don't get on the kitchen sink, like we used to say.
well, that's why a lot of good people don't go into politics or don't pursue public life because it is so vicious, and good people get hurt. And you published your latest book, The Capitalist Comeback, The Trump Boom, and Why the Left's Plot to Stop It. I remember when we talk about this before you start on your, talking about the book a little bit. I remember Bill Maher saying a couple of years ago that if we needed to trash the economy in order to stop Donald Trump from being reelected, and he was so serious about that, and everybody kind of, kind of poo-pooed the idea at the time, but they didn't reject it. And here we are with the economy being shut down over a few cases of the flu. I mean, they're less than, let's see, I'm looking at the latest count. Less than 500 people have died from this thing. I mean, really? And we shut down the whole damn country?
Well, they tried everything they could short of this virus to shut down the economy. Certainly, they did everything they could to damage consumer sentiment, which drives about 2/3 of our economic growth of our GDP. They did everything they could with these rumors of a coming recession, and the economy was heading downhill, and it just kept getting better and better and better until this virus hit, and we started to shut everything down. And there are two theories on this. One, of course, is the modern theory, which is people who are susceptible to this. People my age, I'm 70, or who have other health risks, that we should just isolate them or
sequester or quarantine them, and everybody else should go about their business. And then there's the option where we do what we're doing now, which is just a couple of weeks to shut everything down. I think the reason the administration went with shut everything down for 2 weeks, even though the deaths aren't anywhere near what you need to get for the flu, but the reason is that there were some studies showing that if you didn't do that, the healthcare system would be overwhelmed. You'd have 2.2 million Americans die, which is a heavy price. There were two theories on this. I think we're pretty far down the road to criticizing the one decision that was made. But I think the president indicated yesterday that after 2 weeks, we're probably going to have to look at this a little more carefully and see if the economic harms is starting to outweigh the consequences.
Well, I know that the economic harm is harming me, dude. I can tell you that. So, if I don't see people, I don't get paid. So, it is what it is. But I'm just, but the American people, let's go back to the American people for a minute. And I think that our society has been so dumbed down from the education perspective that they don't seek the truth. I mean, I heard people saying things like, well, 250 people died and every life is important. They were repeating what they heard on television, that every life is important. I mean, 250, you know how many people we lose here in a month, in a summer? We probably get 150 people killed every month here in Chicago during the summer. Hello. And they didn't shut the city down.
So there are very good arguments to be made that we've overreached and we now need to start pulling back. In the interim, though, we've got a couple of businesses still had to pay rent, revenue. People are still going to be afraid to go out even after we get this, even when the restrictions are lifted. So what's really embarrassing is what's going on in the Senate and the House right now. They're refusing to pass a bill that would address the economic harm that's being done in the short term, so we can again set the economy up to recovery. The most compassionate thing we can do.
Well, but Andy, we have people. It's amazing to me. First of all, they will never give Donald Trump credit for anything. The president comes out and the president comes out and he says, we want a stimulus package, but I don't want to have a bill or aid go out to these companies and they do stock buybacks. You would think that Trump never said that. He was the first person to say that. Now, you have Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, and we don't want these. They had no idea that this would even happen or go on. They're so stupid. Okay. Am I right or wrong? I mean, help me with this. Right. Right.
Unlike a dividend, you can choose whether you get the money or not. So now they're trying to stick climate change things
right
into this bill,
right
where we're trying to revive the economy. I mean, this is.
Oh, we want to put. They want to put more restrictions on aircraft emissions, and they want to bring back, more. You're right, the climate change. But what about abortion? I'm thinking, how did abortion get into China flu? I don't understand the two connections here. But there are a lot of. I know, Ron.
When he said, never let a crisis go to waste.
Well,
one of the other representative, I think it was from North Carolina, came out and said, this coronavirus is a real opportunity for us to advance our agenda, something to that. I mean, they're not even shy about it. They're just trying to pass every progressive thing on their wish list that they can never get passed.
Dude.
Crisis mode because nobody supports them.
Well, Andy, this is what I feel. I mean, we only have a limited time here, so we have about 20 more minutes. So I want to. Well, thank you. Likewise, ditto. So look, let's fast forward. Okay, so they can't pass these things legislatively, so they try to take it to the court. It's like the Defense of Marriage Act. That was a law that was passed by the House and the Senate, signed by a president. It goes to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court overturns the will of the people in the Defense of Marriage Act. Marriage is between a man and a woman. Now it's between whatever. So, okay, now let's fast forward to this crisis. This country said very clearly that they do not want liberal policies. They want to turn back the clock on social, liberal, immoral behavior. This is the first time in the last 30 years that I have seen the country's wishes come forward with conservative judges, with conservative rulings. We're stopping this open border immigration. I don't know I have said for years, Hispanic Americans do not support illegal immigration. I have said for years to stop legal and illegal immigration until the American people are given an opportunity to participate in this thing we call the American dream.
Well, I got to tell you, I think you're right. I think we finally have a president that's standing up.
Yep.
He's standing up for
all of the American people.
He's reaching out.
Yep.
And he's reaching out to African Americans. He's reaching out to Hispanics. He's reaching out to women. Matter of fact, there was a tweet that was made by Al Sharpton. I don't, not somebody I agree with on a lot of things, but he said he had made a statement publicly that President Trump should do something to try and help poor people that are in poverty, people that are homeless during this crisis.
Right.
And he said Donald Trump called him to talk about it. Now, I saw that on Twitter. Incidentally, because until yesterday I didn't follow it.
Right.
But I saw it yesterday. Right?
Let me share with you something about Al Sharpton. And this is a fact. Al Sharpton told me about 10 years ago. I was in a meeting with him in New York. He meets in New York at a restaurant in Manhattan. So I had to fly in. The meeting was supposed to be at 9 or 10 o'clock. So the earliest a flight gets in from Chicago is 9:30. So I had to spend the night in Manhattan. That's $400, right? Besides the flight. I get there. This SOB shows up at 11 o'clock, right? And I'm mad as heck because I could have flown in that morning, caught a, cab or limo down to downtown and, been out of there, right? So anyway, I'm sitting at the end of the table by myself. Al Sharpton walks down to my end of the table. I'm thinking he's going to be at the other end of the table because I don't want to see this guy, right? So he starts the meeting and we're talking. And after the meeting, he and I are standing around talking. And he said to me, this is what he said. He said, well, I got a meeting with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, he gave me he gave me the seed money for National Action Network. That's his Jesse Jackson's equivalent, Operation Push. He said he gave me the seed money for National Action Network. In fact, he supports me every year. He gives me a big donation. So these are two people that will really know each other. Al Sharpton knows that Donald Trump is not a racist. Al Sharpton was in Donald Trump's pocket, just like Schumer was in Donald Trump's pocket for 30 years. Okay. So when you talk about Trump reaching out to Sharpton, these people know each other well, dude. They know each other. Well, Andy, I don't know if that's going to work, if that's not going to work, but I can tell you this. This is a very difficult time for Americans and Americans. This is a very difficult time for our country. I have never in my life, except for 9/11, experienced anything close to this kind of shutdown. And to tell you the truth, it's time we got back to work. It's time we focused on yes, being healthy. But this is the other side of it, Andy. I, as a man, an American, these are the habits that I use. I go out into the world every day. The world is a dirty place. When I come in the house, I leave my shoes at the door. And in my family, we always left the shoes at the door. We immediately walk over to the kitchen because you usually come in the back door, right? Walk in the kitchen, wash your hands at the sink, dry your hands, and then go about your business, right? Go get your house slippers, or you'll walk around your stocking feet. But Americans, we tend to be very germy people. I see people who still don't use hygiene walking out of a bathroom and not washing their hands. How can you walk in a bathroom, go in the toilet, use the toilet, and walk straight out of the toilet right out the door? I mean, those were cultural no-nos, or what do you call them? Norms that we didn't practice when we were coming up. Remember, it was scandalous to not wash your hands and be clean. But our economy, our society got away from washing their hands and germs. I hear people go, "Well, I'm coughing. It's just a cold. It's just germs." I'm going, where the hell did you grow up? Eastern Europe? I mean, germs kill people. Stupid. I mean, really, man. I can tell you several times that I almost punched guys out in the movie for coughing on me. I'm like, why are you coughing on me? Well, it's just a cough. You need to get up and move, dude. Don't cough on me. You cough on me again, we got a problem. And because they don't take it in Japan. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna be quiet. But in Japan, when people are sick, they have a cough or a cold, they wear a surgical mask. That's it. Why not? Here in America, we don't do that. Just nasty, germy people. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's going to be very impactful. In fact, I think the economy is going to come back. It's going to come back very strong, very robust. I think that Donald Trump is going to win in a landslide come November. I think that I think that Well, I'm going to share with you, Andy, something I share with my listeners all the time. The night of the election, I was going to do several radio and TV shows. So I came in early to get some sleep. And I got down on my knees and I prayed to God to please let Donald Trump win. Because I knew if Hillary Clinton had won, this country would go to hell in a handbasket. Because everything in her agenda said nothing except Bill and I are going to get rich. Bill, I, and Chelsea are going to get rich. And yes, we're going to finish selling off the American public. Everybody forgets that Bill Clinton is the person that eliminated GATT. He eliminated Glass-Steagall that led to our financial crisis in '08. He sold China the Cray computer, missile guidance technology through Loral Systems, gave them World Trade Organization status and most favored nation status. Bill Clinton did all of those things, and the cost was five five Chinese nationals went to prison for donating illegally to his campaign. His campaign was forced to give back $2.3 million to the Chinese. So where is the scandal in that?
Yeah, so there's so many things about the Clintons that don't seem to ever get to the ending they should. Where you've got what appears to be obvious wrongdoing, and somehow it never gets followed up on. But I can say that I'm so glad that God answered the prayers in the election.
Man,
We're going to be praying again in the next election.
man, I was praying. But listen, I'm going to help the president in every way that I can to get reelected, because I cannot see anyone out there on the horizon, and I do mean anyone, who is going to do what this president has done. Cruz wouldn't have done it. Bush certainly wouldn't have done it. Romney is a joke on the Republican side, and on the Democrat side, they don't even have a Joe Biden. I mean, really? Joe Biden's been Joe Biden's been yeah, but that aside, because I mean, I've been on road trips where I was out on the road for 2 weeks, and I tell you, I didn't know what city I was waking up in part of the time. But that's beside the point. He has aides and he has a staff. But the thing is, Joe Biden has been wrong on everything the last 40 years. He hasn't been right on one issue the last 40 years. Hello. So, I mean,
Really, I mean, how did they ever? I mean, it just. I mean, they had such a cast of characters. You used to call it the clown car. They had such a cast of characters up on the debate stage. Uh, I really didn't think they'd end up with one. He was clearly past his prime. I couldn't
well,
stand the guy.
okay.
I do like him. My dad's starting to get older. I noticed the change, and I'm noticing sort of the same things with Joe Biden, and it's unfortunate. I mean,
But let me tell you something, Andy. Andy,
it's
Andy,
getting worse.
Andy, I ran into Joe Biden in December over the Union League Club, and I have a great picture of Joe Biden and I in front of the Union League Club Christmas tree. In person, the guy's together, man. He's smooth. He spied me. He came down the steps, walked over to me, gave me the soul brother handshake, did the shoulder bump and everything, right? And I had to tell him that I've been a lifelong Republican. I appreciate his service. I say, I appreciate your service to the country. I said, but I've been a lifelong Republican. We've always been on the opposite sides. But I said, I respect and I like you. And he laughed and he said, hey, we're all Americans. I said, yes, sir. So he's smooth in person, man. But I tell you, and he had on a suit. He had on a suit that was to kill for. I mean, he was wearing the heck out of his suit. You could tell it was tailored for him, right? And I'm going, damn, this dude is clean. But he's smooth in person, just like Bill Clinton, man. When I met Bill Clinton, I was with my wife. We were at a party for a birthday party for Juanita Jordan, Michael's first wife. And and Bill Clinton and I were holding each other laughing. And my wife was going, I couldn't believe you and Bill Clinton were standing there laughing with your head on his shoulder, his head on your shoulder. What were you talking about? I said, I don't remember, because he's the devil. He's a devil. I don't remember that. You may have saw that. I don't remember that. And I'm serious. I don't remember it. And I don't remember what we said while we were laughing. But great guy,
The people who meet him, you always hear how charming he is.
Mhm.
And I've never had a conversation with him. But even Kevin McCarthy was talking about when he met Bill Clinton. Here's what an impressive guy he is in person and how charming he can be. Now, obviously
Yeah. He is. I can tell you from experience, man. I mean, he charmed me, and he's the devil incarnate, man. I tell you, that guy. That guy. But anyway, Joe Biden. Getting back to Joe, Joe's been wrong on a lot of things. I think that when I looked at the Democrats that were running, I just couldn't see one that stood out or one that I would vote for. Certainly none of the women, whether it was Camilla Harris, Gabby, Pocahontas. I just didn't see. America does not have a woman politician, whether Democrat or Republican, who has the political health that a Golda Meir had or a Maggie Thatcher. Those were outstanding women. And I think even in the past, I think Barbara Jordan could have been a great president. I think Shirley Chisholm would have been a great president. But other than those two American women, I just don't see anyone on the scene. Oh, I tell you who else? The woman from Kansas. Oh God. No, she wouldn't have been a great president. I don't think she was a great Secretary of State. She was weak. And Connie's a nice person. Senator, what was her name? Yeah. I mean, she's a nice woman, but I mean, I just don't think that she has the political or temperament to be president. I don't know. I may be wrong, but that's how I feel anyway. Um, and neither does Michelle Obama. So you keep talking about Michelle. I'm going. Wait a minute. What? I'm talking about Michelle Obama. I mean, really? Michelle Obama's not interested in being president or anything else. Kay Beverly Hutchinson. That's who I'm thinking about. Beverly Hutchinson. From I thought she could. She had the temperament to be a good president, but I just don't. I just don't see the others. I mean, you look at Condi Rice. I mean, we lost a lot, man. When between from Colin Powell to this guy Mike Pompeo. I think Mike Pompeo is probably the best Secretary of State we've had since Warren Christopher under Clinton. That's what I think. I think Pompeo, and I don't like Nikki Haley. She was one of those never Trumpers. She did some things that was seriously undermine the president. So I think she's one of those go along to get along Republicans. I don't like Nikki. I mean, I like Nikki, but I don't trust Nikki at all. Well, but there are a lot of things that they like her because they I hope they're not fooled because she's a traitor when push comes to shove. Hey, well, look, we got about well, Ivanka. Hey, I mean, I don't know a lot about her. She's a Democrat. I mean, she's a Democrat. We got about 30 seconds here. I'm gonna give you those 30 to close us out. Right. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. All right. I enjoyed it. Thank you. You too. Hey, folks, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Tomorrow, same time, same place. Uno, dos, tres. Oh, yeah.